Alright guys, today I'm going to show you swapping out the terminals on my 2000 Ford Ranger. These terminals were kind of the OEM style in the 90s and early 2000s. I know Ford did it on all kinds of vehicles, and I'm assuming others did it as well. I really like this design. These kind of clamp style like this right here. I like these better than the universal replacements. I'll put a picture right here so you can see which ones I'm talking about. Those are leaded ones. I've always had issues with those. I don't like the way that they screw down, and I don't feel like they apply good pressure. I never did like them. You know, this one right here, I'm getting ready to replace this one. I already replaced this one. Getting ready to replace this one. These have been here 25 years. You know, this truck's 25 years old, and they've done good. The only thing is, you know, they're kind of starting to split a little bit. These are made of brass, and they're like coated in a probably like a zinc or tin coating. And I found these replacements on Amazon, and these, they say they're copper, which brass is a a copper alloy, so I think it's could be copper, could be brass underneath. But these are tin coated, and these are crimp style, open, what they call this, open barrel, and which means it's not blocked off. If you look at some battery lugs, you know, this is fully enclosed and you use like a hammer style anvil to dent it in. But this is what you call an open barrel style, particularly a B, like a B style, B shape. Because by the time it's done, when it curls in, it's kind of hard to see here. See how this, kind of like a B right there. And it's a really, really, really secure way of doing it. Now, granted, those lead terminals, you can get a 2-pack for like $10, and all you need is basic, screw or tools to put that on there. With these are about $7. I'll put links below. Those are affiliate links. I'll even put a non-affiliate link if you don't like doing that kind of thing. These are like $7, and you have to use a crimp tool like this. This is specifically for the heavy gauge ones, and we will be using the slot B. That 100 to 150 amp is a good fit for that. Yeah, so that crimp tool is about $40. Yeah, it's expensive in the overall sense of things, but the way I see it is, once these are cut off and these are recrimped on here, I don't have to worry about it again. I've had issues, like I said, with those leaded ones where that plate just covers and screw down. It doesn't really apply much. Those things I've seen getting loosened over time. I just don't like them. All right, I'd rather be done with it, buy once, cry once kind of thing. But I can also use that cable crimper for other things. Anyway, on to this. These terminal kits that come with these little pads, I don't use them. Never have. Never liked them. I think it's kind of snake oil. If you want to put them on there, you can. I don't like them because they don't allow you to fully seat that. But anyway, let's move on to the positive here. These are already loose here, so I'm going to take these off. This is a whole lot easier to work with when you don't have the battery here in your way. So we're going to loosen these. Also, when you get these should be the same. These should be the same size. I believe they are. They got numbers on them that are identical. But if you'll notice, positive terminals are about at the base like 19 millimeters, and negative is about 17. A little over 17 on this one. And that's what the range, I think both of these terminals are rated for between 17 and 19 millimeters because they can close up enough. With the leaded ones, you have to buy specific because of that taper that's drilled onto the leaded pieces only match one terminal style. Like I said, I believe they're the same. I went ahead and put them on there. This one felt a little bit snugger or a little bit smaller, so I went ahead and put it on negative. I don't know for a fact. I think they're the same. But anyway, we'll take this battery out of here. I've already got the bracket loose too. All right, so I'm gonna cut back. This is like a heat shrink right here. If you can see that, we're gonna cut that back, and I'm gonna cut this as close as I can to the terminal here. So I grab a utility knife here, and obviously I take no responsibility for you cutting yourself. And boom, we got that right there. That crimper I showed you, it does come with a like a cutter in it. But I personally like using, I have a cable cutter already, pretty good one, so I'm gonna use that. Now, one thing I want you to see before I cut this, see how they're stacked on top of each other right here? Because one of these gauges is bigger than the other. If you, let's just look at it this way. If you put a bigger gauge on one side and a smaller one here, when you crimp it, all of your tension is going to be on the thicker, the B, you know, as it comes down. And the smaller one won't be crimped as hard because there's no adjustment for each side. It's a solid, you know, die right here. So it's best when you put, you know, different gauge sizes, one on top of the other, and let them, you know, kind of split the difference. I'll show you that here in a little bit. But anyway, we're going to cut this. All right, there's that. All right, we get the cut off. It's time to strip it. So I'm gonna take the utility knife. You know, you can put in your comments, you know, how much you don't like me doing it this way, but I usually take it with the knife facing my finger and I'll roll it. You can take your terminal, see how far you gotta go, and then just apply pressure and kind of twist it. And then cut it along the wire, and you get that. All right, and as you can see, that copper's clean. If this looked a little dull, I'd take a probably stainless steel brush and brush that to get it shinier. And then we'll double check. See, we're still good there. Similar cut here. Slice it lengthwise. There we go. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put a heat shrink. I got this Dorman assorted. I've used this for a while. There's a big one in here. I think you can get this at the local auto parts store if you want to. If there's a link on this. But these are already kind of pre-cut. There's a part number there. It's just barely enough. Hopefully, I can get that pulled down. I may need some pliers to help pull it down. Oh, that seems like it's going. All right. The good thing about also that heat shrink is it kind of keeps it together. So, like I said, I'm gonna stack these one on top of the other when I do it. I'm trying to find the natural way this thing went, so that way my terminals lined up. It's about like that, which means, let's see, actually I had it right the first time. We're gonna do like that. All right. Again, we're going to be crimping it like this. All right. It's going to be kind of awkward here. These are kind of big. You know, if you had smaller terminals, it's a little easier. Let's see, we're looking at here. We have to do it this way. And we'll see. If I can load these. in here with this terminal already in the crimper. Perfect. All right. I got one little string that hung out. That'll be all right. All right, we'll pull our heat shrink, the smaller one up first. Actually, I'm gonna zoom in so you can see it a little bit. There you go. So you see it's on there. That is on there good. All the conductors have turned into one bundle. We're gonna pull this up. Don't cover your bolt, but just enough to cover the copper up. And I got a heat gun right here. Let me zoom back out. All right, took the bigger heat shrink off. It wasn't needed. That smaller one's actually fine. Plus, it gives you a little bit more, you know, you can see the red a little bit. All I have is black heat shrink. If you want to put red there so you know it's positive, you know, you can go ahead and do that. But essentially, this is done. We'll get the battery in here and we'll bolt it back down real quick. All right, we're putting this on here. May come a little tight when you first get it. You may just need to loosen that bolt up or whatever. Anyway, make sure it's fully seated. It's good. Put the negative on. And these are, by the way, these are 10 millimeter. I'm glad these things are metric. I think a lot of the lead ones are like 3/8, I think. If everything else is on here is metric, I like everything to be the same. But that's it. And as you can see, it's probably as good as OEM now, or they were 25 years ago. All right. I usually try to do a bunch of fixing videos, different little things. I usually look on the internet or YouTube to see if somebody else has made a similar video. All the videos I saw were the original or the other leaded terminals that, like I said, I'm not particularly fond of. Found these, never really saw somebody do a video of it. Decided to do these. Also, if you have newer style OEM ones that look like, I'll put it right here, they also have that open barrel, you know, B-type crimp on it. So if you have a newer one, it also, that tool will essentially do the same thing as these. It's just a little bit different style, but the crimp's the same. Anyway, thanks for watching. Look at my other videos. If anything else in there looks interesting or whatever, I'd ask you like and subscribe. And thank you very much.